যমুনা তীরা বনচারী যমুনা তীরা বনচারী জয় রাধা মাধব কুঞ্জ বিহারী জয় রাধা মাধব কুঞ্জ বিহারী জয় রাধা মাধব কুঞ্জ বিহারী ওম নমো ভগবতে বাসুদেবায়। ওম নমো ভগবতে বাসুদেবায়। ওম নমো ভগবতে বাসুদেবায়। ওম অজ্ঞানতিমিরন্ধস্য জ্ঞানাঞ্জনাশলাকায়া চক্ষুरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपान् साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सवधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादां सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Astadyate Shatadine. Hare Krishna. I am very grateful for this opportunity to make some effort to serve you on the third day of our pilgrimage in this holy month of Kartik in Sri Jagannath Puri town. Vrindavan Das Thakur, he describes the Ganges River, Gangamai, after long bathe Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his beloved associates every day here on the shores of Jagannath Puri. When Ganga saw the intimate confidential service that Yamuna Devi offered to Shri Radha Govinda in Vrindavan, in assisting them and all of their devotees in their pastimes, she desired to serve the Lord in that way. And as a fulfillment to her prayers, Shri Radha Govinda blessed Ganga that when they come in this age of Kali to perform their pastimes in Navadvip, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nai and form of Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Navadvip is none different than Vrindavan. And the very same exchanges of love that take place in Vrindavan will take place in Sri Navadvip and Mayapur. And Mother Ganga will be there at the very heart of their pastimes to offer service. After Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left his home to become a sannyasi, the whole of Navadvip, the community of devotees, was submerged in a bottomless ocean of separation. As we described in our first day, after sannyas, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was eagerly intent to go to Sri Vrindavan Dham. But by the compassion of Lord Nityananda, he changed his course to come to Shantipur. And there, through the prayers of his mother Sachi and all the devotees, he accepted their wish. The same Krishna that is living in Vrindavan is residing in Puri as Lord Jagannath. And Mother Ganga, with that same intense type of eagerness to be in the presence of the Lord, in the service of the Lord, is forever rushing to the Bay of Bengal to come into the ocean to participate in these pastimes. The prominence of Jagannath Puri, how it has been worshipped by practically all of the great acharyas of all of the sampradayas. Lord Chaitanya, who is the most munificent, the most merciful of all incarnations, who is Krishna himself, Swayam Bhagavan, from whom all other avatars are manifesting. He lived in Jagannath Puri continuously for 18 years. "24 years, which is half of the duration of his pastimes on this earth. His home was Jagannath Puri. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, he divides Lord Chaitanya's pastimes in 3 divisions. The Adi Lila, which is from just prior to Lord Chaitanya's birth to his birth, through the time he goes to Gaya to accept initiation from his spiritual master. Sripad Ishwara Puri Maharaj. When he returns from Gaya, it was then that he established the Harinam Sankirtan movement in Sri Navadvip. This is the beginning of the Madhya Lila. It extends through his most extraordinary pastimes in the house of Srivas, among his eternal associates from the spiritual world, from various incarnations. They came to Navadvip to assist Lord Chaitanya in giving this prema of the highest realm of the spiritual world to the most fallen people of Kali Yuga. And their process, primarily prema sankirtan, chanting, dancing. When Lord Chaitanya took sannyas, that begins Sri Chaitanya Bhagavati Antya Lila, where he travels to Jagannath Puri. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, he puts the greatest emphasis on the later part of Lord Chaitanya's pastime. Adi Lila, went up until Lord Chaitanya took sannyas. Madhya Lila was after taking sannyas, how he came here to Jagannath Puri. And from Puri, he traveled for approximately 2 years to the provinces of South India, primarily to spread pure bhakti. Then he had the Ratha Yatras and the reunions with all of his devotees for 4 months every year. And this continued for about 6 years. During that time, he also made one journey to Vrindavan, went as far as Ramakeli and came back. And then again, beautiful description of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveling through the Jarikunda forest, spending 2 months in Vrindavan, and then returning to Puri. During that journey to and from Vrindavan, he instructed Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami. And then when he arrived back here in Puri, this begins the Antya Lila, describing the closing 18 years of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. The inconceivable blessing and good fortune that we have, it's not humanly possible to actually comprehend. to be in the presence of the Lord's devotees under the guidance and divine grace of Srila Prabhupada, our Guru, our Param Guru, to be in the land of the Lord's holy pastimes. And it is here during the Antya-lila that Lord Chaitanya, as Krishna, with the Mahabhav, the love and the complexion of Srimati Radharani, internally experienced the deepest happiness of the spiritual world. What are we doing here? If we have any false pride about our importance in this world, we're not aware of our good fortune. Who are we? Swarup Damodar Goswami, Rupa Goswami, Ramananda Rai, Sanatan Goswami, Haridas Thakur, Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They are longing, yearning in their devotional service while they're here in Jagannath Puri. So we will begin our talk today. After Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where did we leave off? I think the Lord was just approaching Bhuvaneshwar. In Bhuvaneshwar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his bath at Bindu Sarovar. And it is described that Lord Shiva, upon being given this place of residence, a Kamravan, by Krishna, he went to every holy river, lake, and ocean in the universe and brought drops of water to fill Bindu Sarovar, to be his bathing place. After Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bathed at Bindu Sarovar, he went to the temple of Lingaraj, Bhuvaneshwaram, Ananta Vasudev. In fact, he went to every temple in all of Bhuvaneshwar. And as there are many temples today, there were far more at the time of Lord Chaitanya. And at each one, he was chanting and dancing. All the while, absorbed in his eagerness to be with Lord Jagannath. When Lord Chaitanya was walking with his associates Nityananda Prabhu, Jagannath Pandit,
Gole.
Damodar Pandit, and Mukunda Datta. They stopped at a temple of Shiva, Kapoteshwar, one day, just in the area that is called Kamalapur. Lord Chaitanya first bathed in the Radhanath river, and he entrusted his danda, his staff of sannyasi, to Nityananda. Please hold my danda. Then he took his bath. He went into Shiva's temple and he chanted and danced. As they walked forward, great excitement to be in Puri. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first had his darshan of the flag and the chakra on top of Jagannath's temple. Tears poured from his face. He offered dandavats. He fell flat in the dust of the ground, offering repeated obeisances. Just prior to this, actually, when Lord Chaitanya was in the Kapoteshwar Mahadev temple, Nityananda Prabhu, holding the danda of the Lord, he smiled, but he was very serious. And he spoke to the danda. He who I carry in my heart is carrying you. This is not right. And he broke the danda in 3 pieces and tossed the 3 pieces in the Bharginadi river. Lord Nityananda Prabhu's spirit of service. He's carrying the Lord in his heart. Why should the Lord be carrying you? I'm giving my life to serve the Lord, and the Lord is serving you. This is not right. To anybody. Meanwhile, at Kamalapur, when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the chakra of Jagannath temple, he taught us how to see Lord Jagannath, how to see Krishna. He repeatedly was chanting a particular verse that standing in front of the temple is a smiling cowherd boy named Balgopal. And he's waiting to cast his glance upon me. He would say this again and again and again. From that distance, to reach the Jagannath temple, Vrindavan Das Thakur tells, it takes a normal person about 1.5 hours. But Lord Chaitanya He kept in his anticipation and his eagerness to serve Jagannath, to be seen by Jagannath, to serve Jagannath. He kept offering his dandavats. He kept fainting. It took him 9 hours until he reached the Ataranala, a bridge with 18 arches. There he became peaceful in an external state of consciousness. And he turned to Nityananda Prabhu.
वैसा ही हमारा मन होता है तो यहाँ लॉजिक होता है फिर प्रसादन नहीं खाते प्रसादन हम इसलिए खाते हैं ताकि हमारा मन से कॉन्शियसनेस जो है ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट वर्ड है हम नोटिस करते हैं अगर हम लॉजिक लगाते हैं तो कॉन्शियसनेस इज वेरी वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट जो दिखता नहीं है बेसिकली महाराजांचं लेक्चर किती तास जास्त वेळ चाललं इस कॉन्शियसनेस के बेसिस पे हम अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं कि जो आप बात कर रहे हो what is the consciousness that I have when I'm talking to you मैं आपसे क्या कॉन्शियसनेस है बात कर रही हूँ मुझे आपसे कुछ लेना है या क्या मेरा कुछ इंटरेस्ट है इसमें या क्या मैं यहाँ
काल मराठीत लागलं होतं आज कसं काय लागणार
मराठीत आज नाही लागणार मराठीत आजचं लेक्चर उद्या लागणार
हा का
हा
का बरं लाईव्ह मध्ये मराठी नसतं का?
हा
हा लागलं लागलं चालूच आहे का
चालेल रेकॉर्डिंगच काय झालं
हे कुठून घेतलं तू
how he manifested this form of the Mahabhava Prakash. And it was while telling this story at the very conclusion, which is the topmost imaginable story of Lord Chaitanya and Jagannath's Leela, that he departed from the world. So, our beloved Godbrother Bhakti Rupa Prabhu, Madhavananda Prabhu, disciples of Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj have published many of the lectures and put them in publication books, giving the world this great treasure that was his very life and soul. So I'd like to, in my own very insignificant, unqualified way, I'd like to share some of the stories that he shared with all of us. How it is that all the deities of Krishna in the world, Krishna appeared in this form along with his brother and sister. Can I make a confession? I might as well. I became a devotee in Vrindavan. And at the time, there was no ISKCON existence in Vrindavan. This was 1971-72. So none of Srila Prabhupada's devotees were there yet. There was no land. And I was on my way to worship Shiva in Amarnath, but somehow or other, I ended up in Mathura on Janmashtami day. And then I went to Vrindavan, and when I tried to leave, I got typhoid fever. So by the time I got better, I had decided I will never leave Vrindavan for the rest of my life. And I actually pray I never get cured of that fever. But anyways, my visa ended and I had to go. And on my way to the west, I stopped in London. There was a temple in Bury Place. It was the second ISKCON temple I was ever at. The first was in Amsterdam, and then London. And when I went to the temple room, it was the first time since I left Vrindavan. I can't tell you what a reunion it was to see Radha Landanishwar, the beautiful deities of Radha and Krishna, the first deities Srila Prabhupada installed in ISKCON. When I was living in Vrindavan, everywhere was Radha and Krishna deities and temples. And such an oasis in a desert of so much illusory energy of the Western world. There was Radha and Krishna. And there was a shelf on the altar on top of Radha and Krishna. Mandakini Devi You were there at the time, I think. And there were these forms, Jagannath, Balaram, Subhadra. And I was thinking, what is that? And I was already, because I was living with so many sadhus and Vrajavasis, I wasn't real. I gave my heart to Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan, but I didn't know anything about ISKCON or anything like that. So I asked somebody, I see Radha and Krishna, but what is that above them? And he said, that is Jagannath, that's Krishna. And I was thinking, these Western hippies, they're trying to make Krishna psychedelic. I didn't say anything, but I was thinking like that. Some kind of preaching strategy. And I was afraid to say anything because I was like a foreigner. But later I learned about who Jagannath, Balaram, and Subhadra is. But this form is very transcendental. And Srila Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj, he brought us by the hand, all of us, into the inner realm of how Lord Jagannath is a supremely intimate form of Krishna in his utmost state of revelation of his love for Srimati Radharani. And Srila Prabhupada, knowing that Lord Jagannath is Krishna in the form that Sri Radha met in. Well, I'll tell the story. But Jagannath, Balaram, Subhadra are so merciful. There are now millions of sets of Jagannath deities in homes and temples all over the world by Srila Prabhupada's compassion. Srila Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj wanted all of us to understand the inner depths of Srila Prabhupada's compassion and what he's actually giving us. So he tells a story. In Dwarka, Krishna has 16,108 queens. Each one of them is a manifestation, a personification, an expansion of the goddess of fortune from the spiritual world. The queens of Dwarka are on a higher in a sense of intimate, confidential, loving service than Lakshmi and Vaikuntha. Their devotion, their love, their beauty, their opulences are beyond human imagination. They are the Lakshmis of the spiritual world. And they're speaking among each other. We are giving our life, our souls, with all care, exclusively to make Krishna happy. And Krishna expanded himself to live with each and every one of them personally. And yet, at night, when Krishna is resting, he's calling out, Gopi, Gopi, Radhe, Radhe. And one of the queens, she said, why you're saying at night? Even in the day he does like this. He goes into a state like a trance and calls out, Radhe, Radhe, Gopi, Gopi. Who is this Radha? Who is these gopis? What is it about them? And what are the pastimes of love that they share with Krishna? That it seems that Krishna is always thinking of them. One of the queens of Dwarka asked Krishna, and Krishna said, actually, my love is for Radharani and Gopis. I only married you because you remind me of them in separation from them. Who are these residents of Vrindavan? They all approached Rohini. Rohini Devi has a very, very special place in Krishna's pastimes. She's Balaram's mother. She's a wife of Vasudeva. When she was living in Mathura, Devaki and Vasudeva were in prison. Rohini had relations. She could visit Vasudeva. She was pregnant, and Vasudeva sent her across the Yamuna River to Gokula to be in the shelter of Nanda and Yashoda. So before Krishna's birth, before Balaram's birth, Rohini and Yashoda, when they met, it was like Ganga and Yamuna coming together at Prayag. Their affection, their respect, their pastimes with each other, they just merged into such a oneness of loving companionship. After some time, Balaramji was born of Rohini. And little Balaram was just an infant baby. Rohini put him on the lap of Yashoda, who was pregnant with Krishna. And she embraced Balaram, and Balaram felt so close to Krishna. His happiness was so infinitely manifesting that the entire Vrindavan became illuminated with joy without even knowing why, just by the happiness of Balaram. He's just this close, being pressed against Yashoda Maya's body to Krishna. And just 15 days after Balaram, not 15, 8 days was it? It was 8 days after Balaram's birth, Krishna took birth. So Rohini Devi and Yashoda Mai, they were always together with baby Gopal and Baladev. Rohini was intimately in the very heart of all of Krishna and Balaram's pastimes in Vrindavan. After Akrura came to take Krishna to Mathura, Nanda and some of the cowherd men, cowherd boys too, they went with Akrura and Krishna Balaram to Mathura. But Krishna sent them all back to Vrindavan, where they remained in separation for the rest of the years. It was only Rohini. Beside Krishna Balaram, she was the only person living in Dwarka who was a direct personal participant of Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes. So all the queens of Dwarka, they came to Rohini, please tell us about this loving exchanges between Krishna and Sri Radharani and gopis. Rohini Mai, she said, I can try to explain them, but you cannot understand. Because your nature is Aishwarya Bhava. You love Krishna intimately. With reverence toward his majesty, toward his opulence, toward his supreme power. The residents of Vrindavan, they exclusively possess Madhurya Bhava, where they have no concern, they have no comprehension of the opulence and majesty of Krishna. It is covered by his sweetness. They love him as an equal friend, as a child dependent upon their love, or as a lover. Or Krishna openly confesses that he is conquered by the sweetness of the love of the gopis. Yashoda Mai binds Krishna with ropes. We do not find this in Dwarka or in Vaikuntha. When Krishna dances with gopis, This type of dance, we do not find any avatar of the Lord. We don't see Ram dancing. We don't see Varaha Dev or Kurma or Matsya or Parasuram. It's only Krishna. He plays flute, he dances, he simply loves. He said, the pastimes of Vrindavan are so sweet. They are so intimate. And they are so supremely dear to Krishna Balaram that if I try to share with you the Leelas of Brajbhumi, Krishna Balaram will immediately understand that I'm speaking about Vrindavan, and they will come. And if they are here, the transformations that will take place in their hearts, I will be unable to speak. So, someone should guard the door. Can you imagine this assembly? We see the assembly today. I was told there's over 10,000 devotees here now, this evening. Just the queens of Dwarka, if they're coming together, that's 16,000. Rohini didn't need a sound system. It took devotees like over a week to set up the sound system, the pandal, everything. But Dwarka, Rohini began to speak. But before, she had to be assured that someone would call out and warn her that Krishna and Balaram are coming. Subhadra, Krishna's younger sister, daughter of Vasudeva and Devaki. Subhadra agreed, I will stand at the door. She went right in the middle of the doorway and stretched out both of her arms so that no one could come in or out. And she said, if Krishna and Balaram come, I will call out that they're coming. And then Rohini said, then I will stop speaking. Because if they hear what I'm saying, everything will be finished. So Subhadra's standing at the doorway, their arms stretched. Rohini began to describe the pastimes of Vrindavan. The queens of Dwarka were utterly struck with wonder. In the spiritual realm, and we especially learn these stories from our acharyas in writings like the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, which is describing the spirit of the great souls of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Ramayana, Mahabharata. A simple quality that defines a true devotee is they have no envy. This is very difficult to comprehend. In one recording, on the first verse of Bhagavad Gita, where Dhritarashtra is asking, what is happening in this holy place of Kurukshetra, where the Pandavas and the Kurus are assembled before the war? And Srila Prabhupada describes the foundational principle of material existence is envy. This propensity is so deeply seated in a conditioned soul. When we're trying to be controller, proprietor, or enjoyer, that's an expression of envy toward God. Because God is the supreme proprietor, controller, and enjoyer. Okaro Jagatavasam Sarvalokamaheshwara Sukritam Sarvabhutanam Yatvam Shanti. When we recognize this and live in this spirit, we can actually find real peace, real happiness. And when that propensity of envy is there toward God, because all living beings are part and parcel of Krishna, then we are potentially envious of anyone. This ahankara, this false ego, that I am the knower, I am the doer, I am the proprietor. It's at the basis of material suffering. What is a Vaishnava? When we recognize Krishna's greatness, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami, he established the basic principle of a devotee is Jivera Swarupai Krishna Nityadas. We are eternally the servants of Srindakam Sukata Krishna Punya Stravana Kirtana. When we find joy in hearing Krishna's greatness, Krishna's beauty, Krishna's wealth, his strength, his knowledge, his love, that's where our happiness is. When we actually are genuinely developing a taste for Krishna's glories, we're satisfied with Krishna's greatness. Therefore, there's no envy toward anyone. Envy is when somebody is trespassing our own illusory yearning to be the enjoyer, the proprietor, the controller. Pratishta. We want fame. But when we enjoy Krishna's fame, we actually find great happiness in honoring, respecting how Krishna is manifesting in other people. in Brihad Bhagavatamrita that one devotee is going to various great personalities, saying, "You are the greatest." And they say, "No, no, I am insignificant." Can you imagine? They go to Prahlad Maharaj. They go to Brahma. And Brahma, "You are the greatest." And Brahma says, "I'm nothing compared to Shiva." And he's glorifying Shiva. He goes to Shiva. "You are the greatest." "Actually, I'm insignificant compared to Prahlad." Goes to Prahlad. "You are so great." After hearing the glories of Prahlad by Lord Shiva, "But what am I doing? Look what Hanuman is doing." In this way, greatness is defined among Vaishnavas as those who appreciate other devotees' greatness. In other words, no envy, not a competition. When Prahlad is glorifying Hanuman, he's not thinking, "I want to be Hanuman." He's eternally greater than me, but he's giving pleasure to the Lord. That is my happiness. And I'm doing what I can. That is the spiritual world. In Goloka Vrindavan, it's Chintamani Dham. Everybody, whatever is their wish in the loving service toward Krishna, is fulfilled. So there's a plant. A plant is there giving leaves. Tulsi's giving leaves. Tulsi's not dancing with Krishna, but she's on Krishna's feet. The gopis are praising Tulsi, and Tulsi is praising gopis. But even the dust on the ground is fully conscious Paramahamsa, pure devotees of the Lord. They're not envious of gopis. Their joy is in the love of the gopis and Krishna's love of the gopis. Let me assist by being soft under their feet. Let them dance on me. That is Vrindavan. No one is envious of Sri Radha. Every living entity, and Goloka Vrindavan is far greater than anything in material existence as far as quantity. Everyone is simply finding joy and assisting in their own ways the wonderful pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And everyone is enjoying the greatness of other service, and let me assist. That is the spiritual world. So Rohini is describing the wonderful glories of Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes. Nanda and Yashoda, the cowherd boys playing with Krishna, dancing with Krishna, joking with Krishna. And ultimately the gopis, the intensity of their total renunciation of everything forever for Krishna's service. Srila Prabhupada tells story. Just to show the nature of Vrindavan's love. In Dwarka, Krishna told Narada Muni, "I have headache. I need the dust of the feet of my devotees." He went to many devotees. Krishna has a headache. He needs the dust of your feet to apply to his head. Could you imagine? devotees are very intelligent. Krishna is the supreme master. I'm an eternal servant. I can't put my foot dust on his head. I'll go to hell if I do that. So for all the right reasons, nobody would give. But there's right, more right, and most right. When he asked gopis, they immediately started collecting every particle of dust they could, scrape them to their feet and put them in containers. Narada Muni said, "Do you really want to do this? Do you know what will happen to you?" They said, "Yes, of course, we'll go to hell." But if Krishna has a headache, we are willing to go to hell for the rest of eternity if it gives him one moment of relief. And they're not just saying it. They're putting their lives eternally on the line for Krishna's pleasure. So this is just an indication of the spirit when Krishna played upon his flute at Bamsivat on bank of Yamuna. When all the gopis left everything behind, they were willing to risk everything forever to give Krishna happiness. How sweet is the love that Krishna shares with those devotees. So the queens, they're hearing, they're relishing. There's no envy. They may feel themselves totally insignificant in their ability to give Krishna pleasure as the gopis. But it's not with envy. It's actually they're feeling great happiness in hearing how gopis are giving pleasure to Krishna. So as they're all totally absorbed in the sweetest state of samadhi, hearing Rohini give this Raj Leela Katha, Krishna Balaram, immediately they knew Rohini's speaking about Vrindavan. Because Krishna's in everyone's heart. Tatra tishtame narada yatra gayanti madhva. Krishna tells, wherever my devotees are chanting my names and glories, I am there. And it doesn't take him time to get here. He's immediately there. So as soon as Rohini began to speak, everyone is in rapt attention, and Krishna Balaram come running to the place. Meanwhile, Subhadra, Mahi, Lady Subhadra, she's standing guarding the door. She's assigned. Krishna and Balaram are coming as soon as the indication. But by hearing about Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, Subhadra's two arms that are blocking the door, in her ecstasy, they enter into her body. Her legs enter into her body. Her neck enters into her body. Her eyes become dilated. Govinda Maharaj tells Mahabhava Prakash. She's in a state of complete ecstasy, of internal trance. Krishna stands on her left side, and Balaram stands on her right side. And they're listening to Rohini narrate the pastimes of Vrindavan. Their eyes dilate, feeling the love of Srimati Radharani, the gopis, and the residents of Vrindavan, hearing about their pastimes, feeling their love, they go into such a state of ecstasy. Because Krishna, Balaram, Subhadra, they are their bodies. We are not our bodies. We're eternal souls. Srila Prabhupada describes when Krishna was on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he was over 100 years old and he still looked like
ट्रान्सलेशन है
a young boy.
नाही 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 ते जसं बोलतील तसंच येत आहे ते आणि लिव्ह करायचं असेल
Krishna's a controller of time.
नाही थांबा.
Ishvara Parama Krishna
ते इथं येतं
Satchidananda.
लिव्ह म्हणून
His form is eternal,
तिथं
full of
लिव्ह म्हणजे
knowledge,
लाल कलर आला की
and
त्याच्यावरती
full of
केलं तर होतं
ecstasy.
बंद होतं हा बंद होतं. काय पण इंग्लिश मध्ये बोलतात हा ते जरा मला ऐकायचं होतं बोलतात मला काही काही गोष्टी
So what is inside and what is outside, there is no difference.
हा बस बस वरती नाही
So the ecstatic
केले की
feelings
तुझं
of
लक्षात
love
हा हा
in separation from Vrindavan.
त्याला कापून ठेवू का अजून
Krishna's feelings of separation from Srimati Radharani in the core of his heart was manifested on his body. And that is the form of Jagannath. So similar to what we have on our altar, Jagannath, Subhadra, Balaram. They're standing at the doorway together, like tortoises, with their limbs within their bodies and their eyes in ecstatic amazement dilated. Where they're actually physically manifesting the highest ecstasies of Krishna's love and separation from Sri Radha. That's what the form of Jagannath is. What you are feeling, I cannot see. I can see indications sometimes of what you're feeling. And sometimes we're very expert at hiding any indications of what we're feeling. Lord Jagannath is the ecstasy of the highest happiness of Krishna in his feelings of separation and love for Sri Radha from the core of his hearts are manifested in the form of Jagannath. As they're standing in this way, Rohini can't continue speaking, and Narada Muni comes, and he sees Darshan. And as he comes closer, Krishna, Balaram, and Subhadra, they come out of their ecstatic Mahabhava Prakash trance, and they manifest their regular forms. Narada Muni calls out, I have seen! I have seen! I have seen the Mahabhava Prakash. The deities of Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra are revealing the supreme glories of Vrindavan from Krishna, Balaram, and Subhadra's hearts. And Narada Muni prays for a benediction. I have seen this Mahabhav, the supreme love of Sri Radha, how you are controlled in separation from that. Let the darshan of this form forever be in this world for people to come to see, so that you can shower your mercy upon the conditioned souls of this world in this unique, extraordinary form. And Krishna said, Krishna told Narada Muni and blessed the whole world that I will forever live in this form in Jagannath Puri. Even in India, it's so rare that anybody understands the depth and the glories of who Lord Jagannath is. And yet, Srila Prabhupada had devotees making Jagannath meetings all over the world. Because even though it is so supremely high in the rasa, Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra are so supremely accommodating, accessible, and mercy to the fallen souls. And then Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj tells another story. That in Dwarka, just as in Vrindavan, Sri Radha and gopis are crying in separation from Krishna. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes that when Akrura took Krishna and Balaram from Vrindavan, he said the gopis cried for the rest of their lives. Now in this world, crying is not considered something you want to do. But on the spiritual level, love has manifest as Sambodh and Vipralambha. There is the lover and the object of love. And the exchange between the ashray and the vishai is prema, or love. And that is Vrindavan. And the love of union and the love of separation are inseparable from one another. One nourishes the other. Separation intensifies the joy of union, and union intensifies the experience of love and separation. The Braj Lila is the highest. Krishna lived in Vrindavan for just under 11 years. And for the next almost He was in this planet 125 years. 11 years he was sambhog with the residents of Vrindavan. And the rest of the time, their love was in separation. In fact, in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Krishna was asked, why don't you go back to Vrindavan? And he described in many ways, but in one place, that the love of the residents of Vrindavan in separation from me is so deep, it is so all-encompassing, it is so supreme, that it just keeps getting more and more, and it can't get any more, but it keeps getting more. Their love and separation is an ecstasy that if I go there, it can't increase. This was Lord Chaitanya's message to the world, to cultivate love in separation. When we are with someone we love, the love of our heart goes out for the pleasure of that person. In separation on a spiritual level, because Krishna is actually within the core of our hearts reciprocating. In separation, our love goes deeper and deeper and deeper within. And Krishna within the heart, through his bhava expansion, is embracing the residents of Vrindavan. So the feelings of Radharani Gopis, Nanda, Yashoda, Gopas, the feelings that they're feeling toward Krishna while they're in separation of Vrindavan, Krishna's feelings in Dwarka are corresponding. He's feeling, Yayatamam prapadyante tam stadhaiva bhajam. As we surrender, as we love Krishna, Krishna reciprocates accordingly. So in Vrindavan, as gopis are crying Krishna, Krishna, in Dwarka, Krishna's crying Gopi, Gopi. He's chanting their names, and especially Srimati Radharani. So one day, as Krishna is chanting the names of Sri Radha and remembering her, as Radha has fainted in Vrindavan, Krishna faints in Dwarka. And nobody can bring him back to consciousness. Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj describes Narada Muni comes. And Uddhava, Krishna's dearmost, most confidential friend, and Balaram appears. The three of them are discussing. Krishna is in an unconscious, lifeless state in separation from the residents of Vrindavan. The only thing that will bring him out of this state and bring him back to consciousness, Narada Muni, please sing the glories of Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes. Narada Muni said, I will do that. But if I begin to chant Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes, when Krishna comes back to external consciousness, he will immediately run to Vrindavan. So we should arrange his chariot and get his driver, Daruka, to be prepared to immediately bring Krishna to Vrindavan. Uddhava, he said, this is not such a good idea, because I've been to Vrindavan. The devotees there, they're fainting. They're in so much separation. They're hardly alive. If Krishna goes to Vrindavan and sees them in that state, it will be intolerable for him. And he'll never be able to leave the residence of Vrindavan when he sees what he's done to them. He'll never come back to Dwarka. So Narada Muni, he said, Uddhava, you are Krishna's most trusted messenger. Go to Vrindavan and tell all the Brajavasis that Krishna's coming. He's on a chariot. He's on his way. And they will be so happy. They will have a great festival of joy to welcome him. Uddhava said, Krishna sent me as a messenger to Vrindavan to console the residents. And I was there for 3 months trying to console them. But nothing will relieve them unless Krishna returns. I failed in my mission. I promised them that when I go back to Mathura, I will tell Krishna to come immediately to Vrindavan. So all of you just be patient, and I will try to bring Krishna back as soon as possible. When I returned to Mathura, time and again, I pleaded with Krishna, go to Vrindavan. And he says, I will go, I will go. But he never goes. So if I go back there now and I say Krishna's coming, who will believe me? They will think I have lied before and I'm lying again. So I'm not a good messenger. Uddhava and Narada Muni turned to Balaram. He said, Balaram, you should go. Balaram began to cry. He felt so much of the condition of the love and separation of the residents of Vrindavan. He said, I also went. I'm willing to go at any time. But no one will believe me. I was there for 2 months trying to console the residents of Vrindavan. But how can you console a fish that's out of water? They're dying in separation from Krishna. The only thing that keeps them alive is Krishna's promise to return. Otherwise, there's nothing for them to live for. Seeing the condition of gopis, gopas, my old friends, I could not console them. The only thing that will work is if Krishna returns. Now, Balaram, Yashodamai and Nanda Maharaj, they loved him and he loved them as his own parents, multiplied by limitless trillions of times of what relation could be between a parent and a child in this world. Seeing Mother Yashoda's constant crying, begging Balaram to bring Krishna back. Balaram said, I promised her, I will go to Dwarka, and I will tell Krishna, you must come to Vrindavan. And I tried to pacify her, and she believed me. And I came back to Dwarka. Krishna, the residents of Vrindavan are dying. Give up whatever else you're doing. It doesn't matter. Let us go to Vrindavan. And Krishna's answer is always, yes, I will go. I will go. Balaram expressed, whatever I ask Krishna to do, he always does. But this one thing he will never do. If I go back to Vrindavan, how can I face Mother Yashoda and tell her that Krishna's coming? She will not believe me. At that moment, Subhadra came upon them. And very happily, she said, it is not a problem. I will go. Everyone will believe me. They have no reason not to believe me. When I go to the gopis, I will tell them, I'm a simple lady like you. Krishna's coming. In fact, Krishna, Balaram, we all got in our chariots together. We all left together. But so many great personalities, kings and Maharajas, they were all welcoming Krishna and Balaram and having receptions on their way here, that they are delayed. But I have come early to tell you that they're just now coming. Krishna and Balaram are on their chariots. Let us arrange a wonderful, joyous festival to welcome them. Uddhava, Narada, Balaram, they said yes. Balaram said, Subhadra, I will go with you. How can I let my sister go alone? So 2 more chariots were arranged. Subhadra and Balaram left. Narada Muni began to sing the glories of Vrindavan. Instantly, Krishna jumped up and stood in his Tribhanga, his threefold bending form, with his hands holding a flute, but there was no flute. He asked, where is my flute? Where is my flute? Did the gopis take my flute again? He was completely oblivious to Dwarka. In Mathura and Dwarka, we never see forms of Krishna bent in 3 places, playing flute or with peacock feather. That mood of loving reciprocation is exclusive for Vrindavan. Krishna went running, looking for his flute. And he saw Narada Muni. He said, Narada, what are you doing here in Vrindavan? And he saw Uddhava. He said, Uddhava, why are you in Vrindavan? And then he looked around and he realized he wasn't in Vrindavan. And immediately Narada Muni and Uddhava, they said, we have your chariot ready. We'll take you immediately to Vrindavan. And Krishna, he could hardly walk. It was as if he was intoxicating in that prema. And he was shaking and going back and forth and trembling. When Jagannath is going on his chariot for the Rath Yatra, he is in this mood, returning to Vrindavan, represented by Gundicha. And he's also swaying back and forth and shaking. And I remember several times we have come for the Rath Yatra, and I was watching this Pahandi, or in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is called a Pandu Vijaya, bringing Jagannath, Balaram, and Subhadra from their thrones in the Jagannath temple to their chariots for the procession to Vrindavan. How many have witnessed the Pahandi at Rath Yatra? Please say Haribol. You have seen Jagannath is wearing this extraordinary crown, and he's going back and forth, and Balaram is the same way. And one of our very merciful friends is one of the Dayatapatis. And he was carrying, along with so many others, Lord Jagannath. And after the whole Rath Yatra, I asked him, how do all of you together carrying Jagannath? Because Jagannath is pretty large size. How do you coordinate it to make him be going back and forth and shaking and all of this? He said, no, that's Jagannath doing that. We're all just trying to hold him still. Like a person who's very intoxicated, cannot walk so well. Jagannath he can't walk through his chariot, Krishna. So Uddhava and Narada Muni are holding him, and he's going like the Pahandi, bringing him to his chariot. And when he boards chariots, Taruka take him right to Vrindavan. And very swiftly, like the wind, Taruka begins driving. Meanwhile, Subhadra and Balaram arrive in Vrindavan. When Balaram sees the condition of this Vipralamba Bhava, this love and separation of the residents of Vrindavan, he is so intensely affected. The condition of his heart manifested in the form of his body. And like a tortoise, his arms, his leg, his neck, all his limbs enter into his body and sing the love of the residents of Vrindavan. His eyes dilate. And the same exact experience is manifested in the body of Subhadra. So they're totally immovable, like forms of wood. Subhadra can't go and tell Yashoda that Krishna's coming. She can't say anything to anyone. They're speechless. And Krishna's chariot, while all this is happening, and Krishna's just approaching Vrindavan, Yogamaya is orchestrating everything so perfectly. Srimati Radharani comes to her kunja of Nidhuban, and her separation in love for Krishna reaches such limits and beyond that she cries Krishna's name and falls to the ground, practically lifeless. Her dear friends, the Sakis, are trying to revive her, but they cannot. So the word spreads throughout all of Vrindavan that Srimati Radharani is about to leave her body. They're taking dust from her feet, begging, praying, please, if Radharani leaves her body, everyone in Vrindavan will die. And there's absolutely no hope that Krishna will ever return. So it is at this state that Krishna's chariot arrives in Nidhuban, and he sees Srimati Radharani in her supreme state of love and separation. He jumps off of his chariot crying out Srimati Radharani's holy names, and seeing her in that state and feeling her love, he becomes like a tortoise. Mahabhava Prakash. His eyes dilate, gazing upon Sri Radha. His arms and legs enter into his body. He becomes motionless as wood, tears pouring from his eyes, and he falls to the ground without consciousness. By Yogamaya's arrangement, a breeze touched Krishna's body and then came and touched Srimati Radharani's body, and it revived her. Lalita Saki is calling in her name, whispering, Krishna's come, Krishna's come. And Radharani comes awake, and she sees Krishna in his form of Jagannath. She indicates to her friend Vishaka to revive Krishna. And she whispers in Krishna's ear, in Jagannath's ear, that Radharani is here. And Krishna comes to consciousness. And they are both, after so many long years, they are together. The Vipralamba has reached a crescendo to bring them together in Sambhog, in loving reunion. They spent the night in Nidhuban together. They rested. And in the morning, the Sakis were singing. The cuckoos were singing. And Krishna, he told Srimati Radharani that like a log, I was floating in the ocean of your love. And that form that I manifested, I will reside forever in Jagannath Puri. And because my brother Balaram and Subhadra helped bring me here, they will also accompany as Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra to manifest our love and separation from you. And in the age of Kali, you will appear. I will appear again as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, experiencing your love and separation from me. And for all those fortunate jivas, or conditioned souls, and most fortunate devotees, those who come to Puri to have the darshan and render service to Jagannath, Balaram, and Subhadra, I will give them the opportunity for pure devotional service, liberated from all suffering forever in the spiritual world of Vrindavan. This opportunity that we all have is the blessing of coming to Puri. Why Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj shared these stories with us? In his own spirit of compassion and service, it was to give us an indication of what Srila Prabhupada has given to each one of us into the world. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was coming to Puri in his ecstasies of eagerness of love and separation from Srimati, from Krishna, in the mood of Sri Radha, how he is fainting, the ecstatic symptoms he's having. Lord Jagannath is forever manifesting his form in loving separation from Sri Radha. Lord Chaitanya is in the mood of Sri Radha in separation from Krishna. So what is these 18 years of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes in Jagannath Puri? It is the reciprocation between Sri Radha's love and Krishna's love manifesting in this world. Srila Prabhupada was in the midst of his great mission of translating the entire 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam with elaborate purports according to the commentaries of our great acharyas. But in the midst of that, he decided to also translate and give us the purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Such a gift. Originally, I believe it was 17 volumes, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And although it is so high, the Srimad Bhagavatam, it culminates in the love of separation of Sri Radha for Krishna and Krishna for Sri Radha. And Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, especially the Jagannath Puri pastimes, is beginning from that point. We are so unqualified. And the more we realize we're unqualified to even hear these things, what to speak of shamelessly trying to speak these things, the more we realize we're unqualified, the door opens to our qualification. When we know high topics, and it influences us to think I know better than others, and to think I'm greater than others, it means we really don't understand what it is. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he's describing these pastimes of the Gambhira. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna tasting the deepest ecstasies of Srimati Radharani in the confidential association of Lalita Sakhi and Ramananda Rai. Lalita Sakhi and Vishaka in the form of Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai. In the Gambhira, except the two of them, nobody knew what was being discussed. There was no live streaming in the Gambhira. There were no tape recorders. This was most confidential. But by the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu and the Sikh and Rupan Sanatan and Raghunath Das Goswami, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was given the information of the pastimes, the realizations, the rasa, the power of love to experience these things. And he was ordered by the Goswamis and the residents of Vrindavan
to make this into a book. He felt totally unqualified. And Kaviraj Goswami, throughout Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says, I take the dust of the feet of anybody who reads the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I'm here to serve you.
He says,
I'm lower than a worm in stool. I'm more fallen than Jagaya and Madhai. If anyone even hears my name, they lose their piety. And if anyone speaks about me, they become sinful. Now, if you and me say this, it's likely that we want people to think we're advanced.
Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas, they tell us with total conviction that when Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is speaking these things, he is feeling it to the core of his heart. Narottam Das Thakur is praying, Lord Chaitanya, you have come to deliver the most fallen, and if you look throughout this entire planet, you will not find anyone more fallen than me.
Prayers of Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. So humble. Lord Chaitanya,
cried.
he said, your humility is breaking
my heart. Yes, the less we feel qualified, the more we have the opportunity to understand. We can't really taste the holy names until we have this realization. I'm more humble than a blade of grass. Tolerant, forgiving like a tree. Eager to offer all respect to others without expecting any in return. That state of consciousness is not just a theory, but it is impossible for a conditioned soul to achieve that. But it is possible by the causeless mercy of our gurus, the acharyas, the Panchatattva and Sri Sri Radha Madhava. This type of humility, this type of true devotion is given to us. It cannot be achieved. So in his deep faith for Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj is giving us this incredible information of who Jagannath is and who Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. And in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada is describing it so elaborately. But it's so far beyond our realizations. Actually, if we're honest, when we read the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Dehinosmin yatha dehi, that the spirit soul is not the body. How much is that beyond our realizations? To actually understand, I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, I'm not this ego. I'm an eternal soul. I'm a part of God. That's the preliminary, basic principle. What to speak of understanding the confidential pastimes of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, and the culmination of that love as it is exchanged between Lord Jagannath and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here in Puri. Yes, when Krishna was speaking to Srimati Radharani and Nidhuban, he described it in this way. Who are the Jagannath deities? Jagannath, Balaram, Subhadra. Two logs of wood floating in the limitless ocean of Srimati Radharani and the Gopis' love. These topics by hearing with a humble heart. Give us a deeper appreciation of the treasure that Krishna will bestow upon us if we earnestly and sincerely serve his devotees. Try to please our beloved founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada. Help them to spread this movement, which was Lord Chaitanya's reason for coming to this world through Sankirtan. Yes, when we chant our japa, when we chant our kirtan, when we're serving the Vaishnavas and serving the mission, when we're studying Srila Prabhupada's books and discussing the writings of the Acharyas, what is the treasure that will be given to us? If we put aside our envy and our ego to really be a servant of a servant of a servant with eagerness to please Krishna. And I'll conclude tonight by speaking a wonderful pastime where Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada was visiting the Jagannath temple with his devotees in Puri. Have you been to Chattaparvat yet? Some of you? That is not different than Govardhan Hill, as the sea is not different than Yamuna. That is how Lord Chaitanya perceived it, and that is actually the reality of what Lord Chaitanya revealed to us. But coming down from Chattaparvat, they went to Jagannath temple. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur described, people are going to see Lord Jagannath, but that is not our purpose. Our purpose is that Jagannath will be pleased to see us. Jagannath is the seer. We are the seen. When we're chanting the holy names and to actually be able to really taste the infinite sweetness of the holy names. The holy names, which are Radha and Krishna, are actually pleased to taste our devotion. When we're truly sincere, then the real taste for bhakti comes. Do not try to see Krishna. Try to please Krishna and serve Krishna in a way that Krishna is pleased to see us. That is bhakti. So over 10,000 of us are gathered here in Jagannath Puri. And for Jagannath to be pleased to see us to gaze upon us. We have the opportunity to attract the all-attractive by the sincerity, the humility, the attentiveness in which we're trying to hear his glories in Krishna Katha. Chant the holy names in our japa and kirtan. Praying and begging for the mercy of the Vaishnavas, the mercy of our gurus, the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda. A real beggar is not just artificially going door to door. A real beggar is one who really feels the necessity, the need. I have nothing. This is the way all of our acharyas have taught us to pray. Not only through our hearts and our words, but through our actions. So, I have been so much appreciating the wonderful prasad that's being cooked here in Puri during our yatra. It's quite astounding to me. Gauranga Prabhu and Radhabalu Prabhu and Vasudev Prabhu and all, Damodar Prabhu and so many. There's hundreds of people in the kitchen every day. I went there this morning. And chapatis today. Some years ago, I was with our beloved Jagannath Prabhu in Amritsar, and we went to the Golden Temple. It's the capital of the Sikh religion for the world. And they have this this was years ago, they had this big room with a huge machine to make chapatis. Have any of you seen that? It covers it like almost a stadium. It's very large, this machine. And it makes the dough, and it kneads the dough, and it mixes the dough, and it rolls the chapatis, and it cooks the chapatis. And you just put flour and water in some pots, and it goes through all different stages, and in the end it comes out a perfect chapati. And every minute there's hundreds of them coming out. And each one is blown up perfectly, like a full circle. It's amazing how it goes over a perfect chapati, 100% of them. So I was watching this, and being a conditioned soul as I am, I got so hungry for chapatis. I'm bringing the narration back to my level of consciousness now. I wanted so much to have one of these jabatis. After watching hundreds and hundreds, thousands of them going, So they invited me for lunch and they brought me to this room. And there's a couple ladies sitting on the floor rolling chapatis and cooking them over a little burner and giving them to me. And I said, what about, all those chapatis from the machine? And they said, no. They said, that's So if you go back there, I don't know if you're supposed to go back there. Every morning for like 6 or 7 hours, we could easily assemble a chapati machine here. And maybe 5 or 6 people could just be pouring the bags and pouring the water, and then everything else is done. But there's hundreds of ladies all sitting around burners and rolling and cooking and there's smoke in their eyes, and they're just sitting on the ground, old, young, from every background, from all different places of the world. And in the kitchen, there's those giant pots. So much smoke. And so much cooking. They start at 3:30, 4 in the morning for your lunch. And we could taste not just the expertise of the flavor, but also just those recipes. Some people, in the early days, they were spending the whole year formulating the recipes for this quantities. And there's only one result. There's only one goal. That Krishna will be pleased because we have satisfied the devotees. This is the foundational state of consciousness. This mood of bhakti, sincere, humble, devotional service. That will attract Srila Prabhupada to bestow his divine grace upon us. And when we get the mercy of the great souls, then yes, Krishna will give us, not because of any artificial efforts to achieve it. But when Krishna is truly pleased with us, he gives us realization of the supreme fortune that is literally showering on those who come as sincere, heartfelt beggars for the mercy of Jagannath. Puri. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. So we will have a small special announcement. I would like to request His Grace Krishna Chandra Prabhu to kindly make.
Hare Krishna. So, all of you know that Govardhan Eco Village was started about 15 years ago, and the purpose, many purposes, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj's vision was to establish a place for sustainable living, for us to also experience simple living, high thinking, and for that, particularly advancing in our spiritual sojourn, to create a convenient place where we could try to experience Vrindavan. And for that, over the last decade, most of you probably have been to GEB and you have personally seen the development of the Vrindavan Forest of Grace, over the 10 acres within the GEB. You will be happy to know that we had about 30,000 visitors in 2019, just before the COVID. And last year, that is 2022-23, we had 120,000 visitors to GEB. And in this first 7 months, we have 150,000 visitors. In fact, just 4 days ago, that is Tuesday, there were 9,000 visitors on that one day when most of the GEB establishment and management was here. So it was really a transcendental challenge. So the purpose has been that devotees and others who are coming from outside are finding a transformation of their hearts. As Radhanath Swami Maharaj had said earlier, many years ago, that this is a place for all of you to experience Vrindavan, to have the exact same experience, having the exact same places, but in a convenient place that GEB is offering. And we are actually seeing how this is happening in front of our eyes. Over the last 3-4 years, the maintenance of the place has really been at the highest level. Not just the physical and the aesthetical, but also the upkeep of the worship, the standards of deity worship, and the expanding needs that are there. We now have 91 different sites, holy sites in the Vrindavan Forest of Grace. And there will be more, I'm sure, in future. But this all needs a lot of help, and this needs a support. And very frankly speaking with all of you, it is for Go Seva and for Annakshetra, for Food for Life, there will be many, many people. There will be people who are outside our congregation, outside ISKCON, outside even our religion, who will be happy to give because it moves the heart. But to see the benefit and to see the importance, the criticality of the Vrindavan Forest of Grace, which is the soul of GAV in one sense. It is really the heart and soul of GAV. It needs devotees, it needs people who understand what is the long-term significance, and just as Holiness spoke about it, that how we can, in the longer term, how we can dedicate ourselves to Prabhupada's mission by helping that we can give Krishna to them. And we are seeing this happening, as I said, 150,000 in 7 months. The way it is growing, so we would like to keep the same standards. So gradually we would want to build up a corpus. So we do have some schemes which there are pamphlets which says unite to give. So many of you will get some pamphlets on the way out. There's also the GEV stall. My only humble request is, I beg of you, please do not throw this away. Even if right now you're tired, just keep it and see it at your leisure. And we would like to see how, either individually or in groups, whether it's counselor groups or some friends, to come together. It is for our benefit. It is not, when GAV will grow, the Vrindavan Forest of Grace will also grow. So this will be, you can give your commitments over 1 year, 2 years, even 3 years, something which you feel comfortable with. So this is just to show you that this kind of pamphlet will be given to you. If not today, you can also visit in the next few days and collect your pamphlet and have a look at it and then see what you feel. Thank you very much. And also, we have a 90 seconds, just 1.5 minutes exactly, small clip, which you will see right now, which at least you'll be able to hear the transformation and the enthusiasm and the awesome reactions of 9 or 10 of Srila Prabhupada disciples who are just speaking 1 or 2 lines about what they have felt. So please just have a look at it, and then we will leave it to Radhanath Swami Maharaj. Thank you very much.
meditate on the things. So you have done us all a great service by giving us a place to offer our prayers and to meditate. It is something sublime. It's not just a replica model like Disneyland. It is something different.
That Prabhupada wanted us heaven, is for Temple of Vrindavan to be built. And we created Vrindavan, very beautiful.
Green grass, carpet, kiss your feet, and soft soil or sand bring a different thrill, different experience.
The beautiful replication of these 7 temples of the Goswamis, enhancing the mood of Vrindavan that was 500 years ago.
And I saw all the small temples on the bank of Jamuna. This completely gives me a feeling of Vrindavan. As if we have brought Vrindavan to here by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada.
And it's just amazing, and it's amazingly wonderful. I feel really that it's what Vrindavan should be.
Beautiful environment here. The Sri Vrindavan Dham.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hari Hari. Thank you, Krishna Chandra. Shall we have kirtan? Our hope and prayer is this Vrindavan forest that Krishna Chandra Prabhu has been speaking about that we all feel to be our home. Thank you. Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Nam Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Vasyadya Desatarine Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone raise your arms, please. Very loudly. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Much louder, please. Much louder, please. When you chant many millions of times louder, my humble request. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, everybody together. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, everybody please. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare everyone Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Everybody Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudana. Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudana. Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohana. Giridhari Gopinatha Madana Mohana. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Sita. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Sita. Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad Gita. Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad Gita. Sri Rupa Sanatana Pata Raghunatha. Sri Rupa Sanatana Pata Raghunatha. Sri Jiva Gopala Pata Dasa Raghunatha. Sri Jiva Gopala Pata Dasa Raghunatha. Hariharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna